What is going on, guys? Ultimate Deadpool here, back with another 1/6 scale Hot Toys figure review. Today we are looking at Moon Knight. This is obvious. This is probably one of my favorite MCU outfits that they have done. Plus, it's actually one of my favorite MCU shows that they did. It was actually my personal favorite, but that was just me. I know it had flaws, and I know it wasn't perfect, but I still like the show for what it was. And I found this guy at my local collectible store and picked him up because he was extremely low price because his box was beat to crap. But everything is there, and this guy is practically brand spanking new. So I got him for a really good price, a really good deal overall, and I'm really happy with how he how it all turned out. Now, normally when I do this kind of thing, we look at the box first and then go from there. But since the box is completely destroyed, I went ahead and took him out and kind of checked everything, make sure everything was there. Obviously, he's in a pose currently, and he is holding a pose currently. We'll get into all of that. We'll go through all of his details and stuff later. If you want a more in-depth review, I'll put a link in the description below to Justin's collections video. If you want to know more about this guy, he did a video on him a while back. He actually recently just did a, I guess, 2.0 video for the updated version of Moon Knight that has the Oscar Isaac head to go with it. This one is the original, which does not have that. So, real quick, let's go ahead and take Moon Knight off the table, and we'll look at his box as best as we can, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so this is how it's supposed to be. And then this little middle ring right here is supposed to move. But as you can see, there is like nothing holding it together. But that is okay, because I don't care about the box. It does have the wrappings on it, do have a nice little, texture to them. But that's pretty much it. So if you slide the top cover off, you are greeted to a sneak preview. Obviously, Moon Knight is not currently in the box, but we will take out the box, or open up the box, and go through all of his hands and or accessories, and we will go from there. And then you have Moon Knight and Khonshu's skull on the side. I really do like this piece of artwork. It's got like a old school Egyptian hieroglyphic style print to it, with, I'm assuming, either Moon Knight or Khonshu's avatar on the back of the box, holding the crescent darts, I believe is what they're called, not moonarangs or something like that. I don't remember what they're called. But anyway, what we're going to do now is get all of Moon Knight's accessories laid out on the table and go through each one of them one by one. Starting things off with Moon Knight's head. Now, I'm not one of those people who will complain about a 1/6 scale head, because at the end of the day, these things are supposed to be action figures. It doesn't have to be 100% flawless, in my personal opinion. But, and real quick, if you see me wiping stuff off like that, it is because I accidentally sliced my finger open earlier, and I'm trying to keep blood off of Moon Knight. White suit, red blood, not exactly the most ideal thing. Granted, yes, I know it would technically fit Moon Knight's aesthetic, but I don't want to have a battle damage figure, because I don't like battle damage figures in general, unless it's something that I do. And even then, I'm still not a fan of it. So anyway, the hood. I know a lot of people do not like this hood, because it is a sculpted piece on a regular, head, and therefore anytime you move it or bend it out of place, you're going to see a gap. I understand that. I get it. They could have done a wired one like they did the cape. We'll get to that in a little bit. But it's okay for me. It looks like Moon Knight. It's never going to be out of alignment. The little point thing is always going to be in the right spot. For me, it's going to work. And I really do like the fact that they actually frosted the eyes white, or made them out of white plastic, rather than making them all the way translucent, because then, taking on my off-camera flashlight, granted this is probably overkill, but then if you have his eyes turned on, he looks way better with them on. But obviously this was way overpowered for that, so ignore that factor. But he does have a electronics device that you can put the 3 button cell batteries that he does come with into his head, so that way you can actually have his lights on. But then they die immediately, and I don't feel like messing with button cell batteries, so I'm not going to be messing with these. These are going to go right back into their box. He does also have some spare wrist pegs, as all Hot Toys do, and should have. They should have ones for each of the hands, like Sideshow, but that's beside the point. The base. I 100% agree with Justin's collection on this base. It is extremely impractical, and Moon Knight, you saw him on the base at the beginning of the video. He stands right here. So, which means everything here is just dead space. Now, granted, this thing is cool, and when you slide everything in, but it feels extremely cheap because it is clamshell style plastic on top of foam. I personally do not care because, like I said, it looks cool, and if you're doing like a cosplay thing, you can, hold this and have it, represent Moon Knight's crescent darts, and then you can just simply slide that in just like that up top, and then you have a nice little diorama style background piece added to Moon Knight. Now the base itself is actually quite grippy. It's got this like really weird texture on it, which is interesting, but I agree with Justin on this one. This base is simply far too big for something like this. It should and could have been smaller. Now his accessories. He's got 2 like angry gripping style hands, 2 closed fists, 2 moon darts or crescent darts holding hands. I'll show you how these work in just a minute. And 2 splayed out open palm hands, plus 2 hands for gripping the moon darts like he's about to throw it, like I do have him currently with this hand. Now, unfortunately, they only give you 3 of each size, so you can't do the small one, 3 small ones and 3 small ones for each side. You have to pick. You have to do 3 small ones, 3 middle ones, or pick your poison. I currently have him like this just because I think it looks cool and is my favorite display option. But if you wanted to take one of these bigger crescent darts and take these gripping hands here, you can actually slide them in his palm like so. And now it looks like he's just removed them from his chest plate like he does in the show, and he's ready to go at it. Now, I will say this, these crescent darts are actually pretty sharp. No, that is not what sliced my thumb open earlier. But they did just hit the spot where I cut my thumb open earlier. But they are rather pointy, they are rather sharp, so please do be careful if you do get this Moon Knight, or if you have this Moon Knight, be very careful with the crescent darts. They will hurt you, as they just did a second ago for me. But that was my own stupidity. Either way. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and get Moon Knight reassembled and put back together and put on in front of us, rotating around on a rotating turntable, and we will go from there. Standing straight up and down, no crazy poses or any accessories. Dude, this guy is goddamn near perfect. Dare I say it. His proportions look great. I've said it in multiple times in multiple videos. I don't care if it has wonky proportions or anything like that. As long as it looks close enough to what you're trying to represent figure-wise, it's fine for me. But obviously I know that for a lot of people, proportions do matter and mean everything to people. But nothing looks like it's out of scale. His suit fits his body pretty well. His articulation is surprisingly really good. The fabric, though, feels a little funky, though. It feels like a rubbery style cloth almost. And I think it's the same stuff that Hot Toys uses for their Spider-Man figures. But here's my thing. I'm going to leave this guy in a dynamic pose, the same pose that he was in when I brought him on the frame in the beginning of the video, and leave him like that, because if his suit gets creased, he's wearing wrappings. He's got a mummy style suit on underneath it. It's going to bend. I don't care if it has some bends in them, because it's a figure. It is meant to pose. It is meant to do these things. And if the suit gets, has like a permanent crease or whatever in the suit, I don't care, because it's mummy wrappings. It's not going to be a big deal. For me, at least. I know for a lot of people out there, creases and stuff are everything, which is why a lot of collectors have their Hot Toys and whatever standing straight up and down like this in a museum pose, because that's the safest way to leave the suit. I get it. But for me, with this particular character, I don't care, because if it creases, it's just going to add to the aesthetic of being a fabric bandaged style mummy wrapping suit. Anyway, like I said, there are a lot of sculpted pieces on here. It is not all just rubber fabric. So, for instance, like his boots, his belt, his chest armor, his forearm gauntlets, and his shoulder armor, and I believe his kneecaps or knee armor is all sculpted plastic. But it looks seamlessly from everything. And I have seen multiple people complain about the new one that just came out, because they completely flipped the script on that. They made everything contrast, which doesn't really match the aesthetics. Like right now, I can look at the cape and the hood, and yes, there's a slight color mismatch between the two, but it's not at all noticeable. And in fact, on camera, you can't even tell the difference. But in person, the cape is just ever so slightly lighter than the hood, which is supposed to be made of the same material. For me, it doesn't. I don't care, because it's just, I like Moon Knight. I like Oscar Isaac. I think he's a great actor. I did like the show. So I wanted to represent Moon Knight in my collection, and here we are. His cape is actually really cool. It does have wires in it, as you guys saw earlier with it when he was in his little cape wielding pose earlier. But there's an interesting thing about it. The bottom of it is open, so I don't know why they did that. They should have had everything lined and wired, in my opinion. But the wires are strong enough. You can do the crescent cape thing that he did in the show as well. So let's go ahead and take him off the turntable, and using my right hand to hold the figure and my left hand to point at stuff, because I don't want to get blood on the suit like I talked about earlier. We'll go from there and break this guy down one by one. Okay, like I said earlier, his eyes are actually really cool. His face, everything looks fine. And I do like that they have the eyes painted white or molded in a translucent style white, so he actually looks like he's alive. If these were unpainted or just straight clear plastic and they were only relying on the batteries in his head, Moon Knight would look dead as hell, because he wouldn't have that white lens that he had in the show, or that white energy thing that he had in the show. Like I said earlier, this top piece is sculpted plastic, sculpted plastic, sculpted plastic, sculpted plastic, sculpted plastic, sculpted plastic. This part is fabric, however. And then these are also sculpted plastic. These are doubles, split cut boot. So the shin armor can move up, so you can actually bend the foot up and down, and then you can bring everything back down, hide everything else. These look really nice. All the fabric parts feel and look really good, and like even around the back, you're never gonna see any of that stuff on his back, but it's there. It's meant to be there. And I think it's kind of cool that they went ahead and added that stuff to it. Like even this, like the crescent dart in the wrapping, or the gold armor poking out underneath it. Like this is, warrior style armor that's been wrapped in bandages. Like that's such a cool thing that they did. And like some of these things, like they are actually fabric. Like his belt and his little like loincloth style piece, that's all real fabric. The same thing around his butt flap or whatever you want to call that. That's real fabric. You know, and stuff, and then like the stuff around his knees. These pieces right here that go just behind this little Velcro piece. Well, it's actually not Velcro. Do not try removing this. That's all sculpted plastic. It's like it all just works together so nicely. And then his cape, like we said earlier, it is wired. It does have strong posable wire. So if you're trying to get Moon Knight to just be standing straight up and down in a traditional, museum style pose, he can do that, no problem. And the cape will drape nice enough to where it'll give you the illusion that he is standing there straight up and down, and his cape is not. Or if you want him to still be standing straight up and down, but rely on the cape to do all the heavy lifting with the posing, then you can have it look like his cape is billowing off in the wind, and it is blowing away off of his body, like I had it, or similar to how I had it set up slightly earlier in the video at the beginning, when we had started the video. I swear I can talk today, I promise. So, honestly, this is not the best video to watch for Moon Knight. If you're interested in picking this guy up, or if you already have this guy, I apologize if I did not review him correctly. I am not good at doing 1/6 scale figure video reviews, but I still go ahead and do them because I like showing you guys stuff like this. And some of you guys do actually watch these type of videos specifically to see, what's changed in my personal life. Well, this is one of those things. I've started collecting them, and I'm really happy with most of the stuff that I've gotten, if not all of the stuff that I've gotten. So, except for Cyborg Spider-Man that I customized, I still am not a fan of that. He looks better than he did before, but not perfect. So, but perfect, however, is how I would describe this particular figure. If you are after a nice, really detailed Oscar Isaac Moon Knight's portrayal in the MCU, this is your go-to guy. Skip the Artisan one, because that one I've heard has a lot of issues with it. I have seen it in videos, and I 100% agree with people. This cleaner look looks so much closer to the show, but the only thing I will give the new one credit for is they gave an Oscar Isaac switch out head. That's it. Otherwise, everything else on this is the exact same as the new one, except the colors are a little bit different, and they added some speckling and stuff to make it look more like it's dirty and battle damaged, versus this is straight up clean. I prefer clean looks. I said this in my War Machine video. I am not the biggest fan of battle damaged figures, because to me they don't look as good as the clean versions. And in my personal opinion, I would rather showcase those clean versions rather than spending, X amount of money on something that looks like it's been through hell and back. The only exception to that, if I was ever going to do it, would be battle damaged Mark 85 from Avengers Endgame. Only because I do, as much as it almost made me cry in the theater, the I Am Iron Man scene is absolute peak cinema, because it will make a grown man cry if you have followed Iron Man from the beginning. But anyway, that's like the only exception to or if it's like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, that's battle damage, which, yes, I know Hot Toys is making a version of that. I am not picking up that version of Spider-Man as much as cool as it would be, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not a fan of battle damage style figures, but I like battle damage in movies, if that makes sense. Like, battle damage in movies is great. Give me more of that. But in figures, let it be clean, let it be pristine or whatever, looking nice and factory fresh, And then if I wanted to add, you know, some dirt and grime, or in Moon Knight's case, blood or whatever, to make him look more like he did later on in the show, okay, great. I'll add some of that myself if I so choose to. But I don't want to go out and get another figure and have, okay, well, one's clean, one's not. It's just not my thing. I don't know what it is. I've never liked battle damage style things unless it's something either I choose to do, or if it comes like that, but it's like it's pristine enough to where, you know, it looks good, but still has, you know, like dirt and grime and stuff like that on it. That's fine. That's fine. It's like when it's head to toe battle damage, I'm not a fan of, just because I've never liked battle damage looks. I always prefer the cleaner, more sleek aesthetics, because it's just more represent of what, you know, those characters to me feel more iconic. You know, when I think of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, for instance, I think of his traditional, you know, how cheesy those movies were, but like his suit-wise, it's very clean, it's very poppy, and whatever. And yeah, it does get battle damaged, but in the main scenes that you see of the characters in those movies, their suits are 95% of the time nice and clean. That's just me. It's weird. It's my thing. I get it. It's not for everybody. I know there's a lot of people who like the battle damage stuff. I have gone on way too long on the battle damage side of things. Let's go ahead and finish off this video for Moon Knight. So, like I said, this guy is great. The only thing I would say is it would have been cool to have an Oscar Isaac head for this particular Moon Knight. But if I really wanted to, I can sort that stuff out all myself later if I so choose to. But like I said, this guy is going to be standing in my display case on his base until I can get another one done for him, or a brand new one made for him, because I hate that display base with a passion. But other than that, this guy is just going to be standing there with the crescent darts in his hands, looking like a badass, and he is the first of other figures in my specific side of my collection. I'm not saying exactly what it is, but for those of you who can figure it out, Moon Knight is a part of a specific group, and one of my favorite groups in the comic books. So let that be the only hint that you guys get. But I'm going to be building out my own version of that specific team through Hot Toys and 1/6 scale figures as well. So only time will show all that stuff happening. I will, of course, do a video on those characters as we go through everything, and then we'll go back and do comparisons to Moon Knight and whoever else I come up with that stuff. But for now, Moon Knight is the first of a new team I am starting. So anyway, I'm not doing comparisons this time because I don't really feel like getting any of the stuff out of my display case right now. So he's going to be a lonesome soldier, but just know he is shorter than War Machine. He is about as tall, if not maybe a little bit shorter than Zombie Deadpool, and he's about the same size as Ben 10, and he's obviously shorter than Hellboy. That's pretty much it. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of this video in the comments down below. Do you guys like this guy? Do you even like these figure reviews, or should I just go back to reviewing Marvel Legends stuff? Which is perfectly fine by me as well. But I do have fun making these 1/6 scale Hot Toys figures, because to me it kind of makes me feel like I'm going up in the world, even though I'm clearly not. I'm just going up in debt. So, not actually though, but still. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of him in the comments down below, and I'll catch you guys all next time. Bye.